Shalom to the 12 tribes scattered abroad. It's your brother Kadar Malak. Come back with another breakdown, another video, Lord willing, going into Romans 1 and 2. Read along. All right. So I want to share my screen. All right, because a lot of times Christians read 1, different people read Romans 1 and Romans 2 and Romans period and try to put a connotation or a spirit upon the Bible. Okay, so I want to get a quick precept. It's the book of Second Peter, chapter 3. I'm gonna start at 15. An account that the long suffering of the Lord is salvation, even as our beloved brother Paul also, according to the wisdom given unto him, have written unto you, as also in all his epistles, speaking in them of these things, in which are some things hard to be understood, which they that are unlearned and unstable rest, right? Meaning to wrestle, right? Meaning in Greek to twist, as they do also the other scriptures unto their own destruction. So Peter even tells us that wicked men, they're going to see Paul's letters, see and read things in Acts, see and read primarily the New Testament and twist these things unto their own destruction, right? Their foundation is going to be off. These men are going to not understand plenty of different scriptures. They're going to twist multiple scriptures. Right? You have men like Janus and Jambres, man. You have men like Diotrephes. You have men like Simon the sorcerer. You have a lot of wicked men that twist and turn the scriptures. So through these read-alongs, for one, it's helping both of us read, Israel and me, and we get the sense of the chapter. A lot of times, brothers, not saying brothers don't break down the chapter, but brothers don't, just read the whole chapter and break it down line upon line. Sometimes Israel need that. When I was a babe, I ain't know what nothing meant. I need to break down line upon line. So let's go and read Romans 1. It's all through the Spirit. Romans 1 and 1. Paul, a servant of Jesus Christ, right, to Yahushua Mashiach, called to be an apostle, means to be sent forth, separated unto the gospel of God, right? He's holy, separated unto the gospel of God, to teach the gospel, the good news, the good tidings to Israel, which he had promised afore by his prophets in the holy scriptures, right? We read that in Hebrews, we read that in Hebrews for 1 on down, right? The gospel was already given to the children of Israel first, and is going to be given to the children of Israel at the end, right? And the promise and right of the gospel of God and Yahushua also was in the Holy Scriptures. Concerning his son, right, what was prophesied concerning his son, Yahushua Mashiach, our Lord, our outer one, which was made of the seed of David. That word in the Greek is spermos, okay, which was made of the sperm of David, right? You can't be made of the sperm of David if you're made of a woman. Right? That's not what that's going into. You got a lot of men. Oh, the seed of David is just talking about the children. It's talking about just Mary. Well, hey, the seed of David through the Spirit, we understand that this is a seed line, and that's why he comes out. According to the flesh, right? On a fleshly level, he's what? The son of David. He comes from the seed of David on a fleshly level, and declared to be the Son of God with power, according to the Spirit of holiness by the resurrection from the dead. One of the main things that Yahushua told the apostles, right, is that in other men, you can believe on me, not just because of what I say, but believe also for the works, man. The Most High was sending Yahushua with the works, man. But you know what they said? The Pharisees didn't believe. They said he's doing these miracles by a demon. He's doing it by Beelzebub. So to an unfaithful man, you can't teach him anything. Try telling somebody unfaithful anything. They don't believe. It's going to be a carnal, wrong understanding of anything if they're fleshly and low level. Okay. So what stamped Yahushua being the Son of God is that resurrection from the dead. Completely. There's no way you can get away from that. Nobody ever resurrected from the dead on their own power from the Most High, ever, and lived, by whom we have received grace and apostleship for obedience to the faith among all nations for his name. This all nations, again, unless you're a wicked ass Israelite teaching false doctrine, or you're a Christian, you're going to see all nations and think it's talking about all literal heathen nations. Blood. It's not talking about that. When Paul is speaking, he's very specifically speaking to a certain people. And I'm explaining that. For his name, among whom ye are also the called of Yahweh Shai Mashiach, to all that be in Rome, right? So the nations, right? You have many different nations. You have Syria, you have Galilee, you have many different areas of nations of people. Okay. To all that be in Rome, in this nation of Rome, beloved of God. Who is the beloved people of God in Rome? Let's get a quick precept, real quick. Real quick precept. Book of First Kings, chapter 10. And let's start at verse 9. First Kings, chapter 10, and verse 9. Blessed be the Lord thy God, which delighteth in thee, to set thee on the throne of Israel, because the Lord loved Israel forever. Forever. Ever and ever. Even when we was cast away, he loved Israel forever. Therefore made he thee king to do judgment and justice. So the Lord loves Israel forever. Who is that beloved in Rome? The Israelites that are beloved of Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai. Okay? So, beloved of God, called to be saints. Who are the saints? Well, first and foremost, right? First and foremost, real quick, I want to get this other one. This book of Revelations, chapter. I'm gonna get this other one first. Book of Revelation. I'm gonna get Psalms 50 and 5 first. This book of Psalms, chapter 50, verse 5. Gather my saints together unto me, those that have made a covenant with me by sacrifice. The saints made a covenant by sacrifice. What people made a covenant by sacrifice? The Israelites in Exodus, the 24th chapter, etc., etc. Right? The Most High isn't calling Dewey, Dave, and damn Thomas, the Edomite, the saints, man. It's like it. He isn't calling them the saints. This is Psalms 147. It's the book of Psalms at the 147. It's like 148 and verse 14. He also exalted the horn of his people, the praise of all his saints, even of the children of Israel, a people near unto him. Praise ye the Lord. So the saints are the children of Israel. Even when you read in the book of Revelations, the Most High said, right, here's the patience of the saints, man. Right here are they that keep the commandments of God and the faith of Yahweh Shai Mashiach. So, in order to be a saint, you have to keep the commandments and the faith. It's not saying just any goddamn Israelite. Any Israel. You got pork. You got Israelites who eat pork. You have Israelites that hate the Most High. You have Israelites that love idolatry. You have Israelites that are wicked. Or you have plenty of different wicked Israelites. So it's not just saying to any Israelite you're a saint. Right? It's talking about to the holy, righteous, elect primarily. It's talking to of the Israelites are the saints. Okay, like the Lord even says in the Wisdom of Solomon, or the third chapter. I'm not gonna get that because sake of time. But Wisdom of Solomon 3:9, Wisdom of Solomon 4:15. Grace and mercy is to his elect. Who is the elect? What was the grace and mercy for Saul once he went off? Right, the Most High allowed him to live. Yeah, he had a remnant of grace and mercy, but in a sense, he went off once and he was out of there. Right, but look at David committed adultery, got a man murdered, numbered the children of Israel. I mean, and he still got the grace and mercy of the Most High. So that grace and mercy, really, truly on a deep spiritual level, is really primarily to the elect. Right? Grace and mercy isn't for just any goddamn body. Right? Romans 1 and Salakia. Right? And 7. Right? It's called to be saints. Grace and peace from God our Father. The Edomites don't have the Most High Yahweh as their father. The Most High said in Joel 2 and 27, he is the God of Israel only. And I'm in the midst of them, greatly paraphrasing. So it's not their father. Did not the Most High tell Cain, right, my face shall be hid from thee? Right? He not dealing with Cain and any of the children of Cain, Esau, any of that. Okay? And the Lord Yahweh Shai Mashiach. First, I thank my God through Yahweh Shai for you all, that your faith is spoken of throughout the whole world. So they had a name throughout the whole world of faith. They had a lot of belief. They was turning Rome upside down. For God is my witness, whom I serve with my spirit in the gospel of his son, in the good news of his son, that without ceasing I make mention of you always in my prayers, right? Showing a high level of brotherly love, always mentioning their brothers, right? in Rome, the prayer in his prayers, making requests. But when this one start chopping up, start chopping up. But Salaki, making requests, if by any means now at length I might have a prosperous journey by the will of God to come unto you. Right. So Lord willing, he was praying and asking the Most High that he can get to Rome. For I long to see you, that I may impart unto you some spiritual gift, to the end ye may be established. So men on a level, right? They had power to give spiritual gift. Man, Paul wasn't just a damn fool. You got men saying Paul wasn't a prophet. Paul prophesied in the book of Acts, man. Paul prophesied in First Thessalonians and First Corinthians, Second Corinthians, in the book of Corinthians. Right? The Most High put the Spirit on Paul to teach different things. Man, he's a prophet. He has power. Okay. And what? That spiritual gift will help them be established. That is, that I may be comforted together with you by the mutual faith, both of you and me. So he's going to be comforted by the faith of him and the children of Israel in Rome. Now, I would not have you ignorant. I would not have you lacking knowledge. Brethren, that oftentimes I purposed to come unto you, but was let hitherto, that I might have some fruit among you also, even as among other Gentiles. So he said, I've been trying to come to you in Rome. I've been trying to go over there. But hey, man, I'm trying to have some fruit over there, just like I have fruit among other Gentiles. Now we know, right? Every single context in the New Testament, when you see the word Gentile, it's not talking about the heathen. Right? This right here is not talking about the heathen. Greeks, barbarian, that's not talking about literal bloodline heathen. Okay. First off, who is the Gentiles Paul talking to? Right? These are Jews, Israelites, northern kingdom, those who were once alienated, from the Commonwealth of Israel, now back into the fold. Right? This is the book of First Corinthians, chapter 12, verse 2. Right? I'm sorry, 1. Now concerning spiritual gifts, brethren, I would not have you ignorant. So who's the spiritual gifts going to go to? To these people he's talking about. Ye know that ye were Gentiles. You was Gentiles. If I am a Gentile and I serve the quote unquote most high, so in a mystical world, hey, how can I once be a Gentile? You're still a Gentile. You're still a Gentile. Now you can say ethnically I became a Jew, but you're still a Gentile. That's what happened in the book of Esther, man. When it said those people in the land became Jews, they didn't literally become from the tribe of Dan and Dinah, right? No, that's talking about they ethnically they follow the culture, the ways and traditions of the Jews. So this is the same thing Paul and who he's speaking to. These men, right, women and children were once in the ethnic traditions of the Greeks, the barbarians, the Scythians, the Romans, all these other nations, and they were once Gentiles, but not by blood. That's why they can get grafted back into the fold. Right? The heathen can't get grafted back into something they was never in. Right? Carried away unto these dumb idols, even as ye were led. When our people is in a Gentile state of mind, they're in idolatry. Okay, so let's go back to Romans 1. So that Gentile Paul is talking to, he's not talking about again, I don't know, the Sheba people and Elon. Okay, let's go back here. So even as among other Gentiles, right? So other Israelites scattered abroad, right, who don't know their nationality, who are following the ethnic traditions of those nations. That's what he's talking about. I am a debtor both to the Greeks and to the barbarians, both to the wise and to the unwise. So you have cultural things that happen and take place. You have to get into the history, or the geography, the cartography. You have to get into all this understanding, or the geopolitics, and understand the land, what you're seeing. Right? You have Greeks and barbarians. Now we know that Greek took down the barbarians. The barbarians were primarily known as the Persians. Okay, it was looked as a barbarian people. Okay, our people follow the ways of the barbarians. Some of our people follow the gods of damn Cyrus or these other nations, Bel and the Dragon. It wasn't just there and no Jews followed it. Okay, so the barbarians had a connotation on them that they were unwise, they were brutish, they were foolish, and then the Greeks, they had a connotation that they was better, they was smarter, they looked better, they was healthier, they knew what was going on. Okay, so Paul is making a contrast to any of you Israelites that are in a Greek state of mind or in a barbarian state of mind, who think you are wise, who think you have understanding, who think you know a lot of the world, and those who don't. right? To both of y'all, and I'm coming to teach and save both of y'all, you Israelites in both of these states of mind. So as much as in me is, I am ready to preach the gospel, right, to you that are at Rome also. So I'm ready to preach the gospel to you that are in Rome as well. For I am not ashamed of the gospel of Christ. Well, you can't be ashamed. Jacob's trouble start to pop up. Things start kicking off. They ask you, you're Israelite. You say, I don't know what you're talking about. You're gonna have to get bold and say, I am not ashamed of the gospel of Christ. For it is the power of God unto salvation to everyone that believeth. How do you get salvation? Well, you can get salvation through the gospel of Christ. The good news of Yahushua Mashiach will get you salvation. The carnality of the law will not get you salvation. While you fasting twice a week only is not going to get you salvation. You moving in the spirit of that Pharisee who prayed and said, I'm better than the other man, that's a publican, will not get you salvation. You have to have faith and works, right, to get salvation, right? And that's really what the gospel is even about. The good news, the new covenant. It's all about a perfect balance of the law and mercy to the Jew first, and also to the Greek. Right now, some people read this in different translation and say Gentile, but obviously we know, like I just broke down again, the Greek here is not talking about literal heathen. To the Jew first, it's talking about to the Jews, the Pharisees, the Sadducees, the house of Gamaliel, the house of Shammai, the house of Heliel, all the Jews. Hey, the gospel was first preached unto you. Was it not? When you read Matthew 10 and 5, we read about Yahushua teaching and going to the Jews and saying, do not go into the way of the Gentiles. And then later they go into the way of the Gentiles, and they're going to the Israelites that are in Greek state of mind, to the northern kingdom Israelites, the Samaritans, the people in Galilee, and Zebulun, and Naphtali, those who don't know and have understanding. Okay? So to the Jew first, and then also to the Greek outside of that land, primarily of Judea, right, in Galilee, everybody else really spoke Greek. Okay, you had a Greek mentality, a Greek people. You had temples, Diana, Aphrodite. They worship Zeus. So this is talking about first to the Jews and then to the Greeks. Okay, right? The Israelites who are in a Greek state of mind. That's Second Maccabees 6:6. It literally says our people were not allowed to call themselves Jews. If you did, you'd be put to death immediately. And even if you was to stand on it, your children might die. You might die, and now your children wake up and they start saying the Greek. It might not be necessarily your people voted. Hey man, hey, things happen, right? Things happen. Verse 17. For therein is the righteousness of God revealed from faith to faith, as it is written, the just shall live by faith. For the wrath of God is revealed from heaven against all ungodliness and unrighteousness of men who hold the truth in unrighteousness. So the Most High God isn't going to kill you just because, right, of a specific sin. The Most High can kill you because your heart is not right. Well, is it godly to have an unrighteous heart, an unrepentant heart, a heart that's not thinking about the Most High? He never cares. A heart that doesn't have no brotherly love. I mean, this is an ungodly heart and unrighteousness. So if you're in the spirit of ungodliness, unrighteousness, right, unrepentant, and you hold the truth in unrighteousness, you love and you teach and preach and hold to the truth of unrighteousness. So you hold and teach and believe that this unrighteous thing is the truth, and you don't get judged. Because that which may be known of God is manifest in them, for God hath shewed it unto them. For the invisible things of him from the creation of the world are clearly seen, being understood by the things that are made, even his eternal power and Godhead, so that they're without excuse. Now, when you go into that Greek for Godhead, right, we have to understand that during the time of King James, a lot of our people was, into the spirit of Christianity, right? They was converted into bad doctrine. So you're going to see this word Godhead, but in the Greek, it literally just means divine power, right? And it's divinity. Okay. So that they're without excuse, right? So you it's no way you can't see the power and divine things that's from the Most High, the creation of the world. Because that when they knew God, they glorified him not as God. Now, this is touching on idolatry. A big issue all throughout the Israelites' history is idolatry. Okay? Because they knew God, because that when they knew God, they glorified him not as God, neither were thankful, but became vain in their imaginations, and their foolish heart was darkened. Professing themselves to be wise, they became fools. So now Right? They don't worship the Most High. They don't glorify Him. They say, "Yeah, I know it's a creation, it's a power," but they don't glorify Him as Yahweh. They're not thankful for the Most High. They became vain in their imaginations. They started imagining different things, and their foolish heart, mind, and spirit was darkened and clouded with Satan, professing themselves to be wise, to think they have understanding, but they became fools through that and changed the glory of the uncorruptible God into an image made like to corruptible man, into birds and four-footed beasts and creeping things. Wherefore God also gave them up to uncleanness through the lust of their own hearts to dishonor their own bodies between themselves. So now they have idolatry spirit on them. What comes past the idolatry? What is in idolatry? I want to touch on a video on that, but a lot of idolatry had a lot of sexual immorality in it. Whenever you go into these different gods, Ashtoreth, Diana, every year you had to give yourself up as a damn temple prostitute and fornicate and commit adultery, right? So, and I was talking to the men too. You had to freak off. So, through idolatry, our people became damn sodomites, homosexuals. Wherefore, God also gave them up to uncleanness. The spirit of uncleanness is just you being in the spirit of unclean. You're not clean. You're not holy. You're not set apart. You're always dealing with unclean things through the lust of their own hearts, their own desire, to dishonor their own bodies between themselves. How do you dishonor your own body between yourself? Right? Cross, laying down. Who changed the truth of God into a lie and worship and serve the creature more than the creator? When you become a sodomite, you become a damn part of the lettuce, bacon, tomato, and cucumber community. Hey, you turn the truth of God into a lie and you worship and serve the creator. It's like the creature, which is that man or that woman, more than the creator, because you're choosing to do something because of your lust and what you want instead of the Most High, who is blessed forever. Amen. For this cause, God gave them up unto vile affections. For even their women did change the natural use into that which is against nature. And likewise also the men. How do you change your natural use? Your natural use as a man is to be with a woman. Your natural use with a woman is to be with a man. That's what your body parts, your mind is supposed to be wired to be and come together and make something beautiful, right? But you are going against that. And likewise also the men leaving the natural use of women. What is that? They're not laying down with women. They don't want to deal with the natural, good, beautiful things that came from women, but they burned in their lust one towards another with men. It's like men with men working that which is unseemly. Right? This is unseemly. When you see a man with a man, it's unseemly. And receiving in themselves that recompense of their error, which was me. What is the recompense you get? HIV, AIDS, diseases. I mean, you're doing something that's not a part of natural use. And even as they did not like to retain God in their knowledge, no sodomites like to retain God in their knowledge. Every homosexual thinks in the back of their mind, now I might go to hell for this. They all think that. Don't let them. It's grace and mercy. Whatever. If they say that they're drunk off Christianity and the wine of the horn of the Lamb of Babylon, right? God gave them over to a reprobate mind, right? A bad, horrible mind. You wearing dresses, wearing damn nails and lashes with a beard on your face to do those things which are not convenient. Homosexuality is not convenient. Being filled with all unrighteousness. So this is the spirit of idolatry, homosexualism, right? You not following the Most High and having and holding the truth on righteousness. Hey, this is the spirits that come with you. Being filled to the cup, to the top, filled with all unrighteousness, fornication, wickedness, covetousness, wanting something that's not yours, maliciousness, full of envy, murder, debate. All sodomites, they love debating, talking, arguing. The words that book come from, how do we even know? They love debate, deceit, malignity, whisperers, backbiters, haters of God, despiteful, proud, boasters, inventors of evil things. In you got, hey man, you got some things out here. Hey man, hey, you got people making things out here so you can touch yourself to it, man. That's off. That's an inventor of evil things. You could have made a robot to damn do anything, but to freak off with it, disobedient to parents, without understanding, covenant breakers, without natural affection, implacable, unmerciful, who, knowing the judgment of God, that they which commit such things are worthy of death, not only do they do the same, but have pleasure in them that do them. Okay, so this is a lot to unravel, man. The Most High put the Spirit on Paul. He broke down, right? Damn, sodomy is off. Broke down lesbianism is off. He broke down, and that's keeping the law, right? He could have just said grace and mercy. If you're a sodomite, just pray for more mercy. Okay, right? So through the Spirit, I'm gonna come back, Lord willing, and do another breakdown of Romans 2, right? For for lack of time, I gotta kind of cut things short. But Lord willing, I'll be back tonight to break down Romans the second chapter and keep going into it through the Spirit. So I want to give a hearty shalom to the 12 tribes in Israel who even tuned in for this first chapter, Lord willing, and we're gonna get into the next chapters. With that, shalom, shalom.